I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for Life in UK test 390, the Reformation to the Glorious Revolution, part 2. We're doing wrist training, and if you participate in wrist training, that's the honors. Let's read the introduction again, because we had written it in such a theatralic way. I don't know if theatralic is an English word. This period was marked by a series of major changes to British society. The Reformation changed religious practices in the country. Tensions between Parliament and the King resulted in the English Civil War. This ultimately led to the restoration and a new balance of power between royalty and Parliament. In 1553, it was the time of the reignship of Edward VI and of a Bloody Mary, nicknamed just Mary. And in the year 1553, did Edward VI die, and he had just the age of 15. And he had ruled for 6 years, so from the age of 9 until 15. And when Bloody Mary, she was a Catholic, became queen. So, King Henry VIII had 3 children of his 3 first wives. Mary, Elizabeth, and Edward. Edward, because he was male, became first the king. And after Edward died, at the age of 15 in 1553, in some year, yes, I don't know. Yes, 1547 until 1553 did Edward VI reign. So after Edward VI died, his half-sister, Mary, became queen, and she was a Catholic because, they don't say it, but she was still born when Henry VIII was a Catholic, and also her mother was a Catholic. And now Bloody Mary, she was a devout Catholic. And then in 1560 there came Elizabeth I, because Mary also did quite shortly, only for 7 years, and Elizabeth I in 1560. There was the Reformation in Scotland. The predominantly Protestant Scottish Parliament abolished the authority of the Pope, and Roman Catholic services became illegal. What is in here? The Reformation in Scotland happened in 1560. The predominantly Protestant Scottish Parliament abolished the authority of the Pope, and Roman Catholic services became illegal. So Scotland was also Protestantic, and the Parliament, at least the Parliament, was mostly Protestant, and the Parliament decided to abolish the authority of the Pope and of the Roman Catholic Church, and also said that Roman Catholic services are from now on illegal. And in 1588, there was a battle of non battle named. There was the defeat of a Spanish armada through the navy of Elizabeth I, and they had been sent by Spain to restore Catholicism in England. And in 1603, Elizabeth I died, and James I of England, Wales and Ireland, and the 6th of Scotland, who is Elizabeth's cousin, becomes king. 1603, Elizabeth I dies, and James I of England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and James VI of Scotland becomes new king. He is the cousin of Elizabeth I. We're going to end it here. Tomorrow, or another time, we will continue with the next part. We will continue with more to it. If you're here for wrist training, then you're right, because what are we going to do now? We're going to do a wrist training. If you participate in a wrist training, that is at your own risk. If you were just here for that, and you will just be there for that, then you can go direct to the next part. Wrist training at your own risk if you participate. The hands from the fist next to us, and we bring the fists down. And up, this is the spotlight. And we're having three what are them? Rules. And the first one is that we're stopping immediately as soon as we feel pain. The second one is really going only as fast as we can go with a little bit of effort. And the third one is that we not overdo. So, the next exercise will flashlight. Hands next to us, hands from the fist, we'll bring them to the inside and to the outside. And And yes, my third rule was that we're not overdoing it. We just want to strengthen all the muscles, tendons, and joints. That's all there. So we're not overdoing it. We're doing only a few. So that will be the last one. And we're having a lot of exercises here. We're using them as a warm-up and so on. Always the argument, we are no less, but we are more intense. But the rest is very complex. Many different ones, but easy. And I'm going to announce 2 or 3 as breaks. And you can take a break at any moment. And we're using them to warm up. The next exercise is the magician. So that's next to us, and we're bringing them to the inside, to the outside. So one last time. And now we are doing the pancake flip. Flat hands next to us, and we're flipping these hands up. And again. Maybe. But anyway, it was. Now yes, it is the triangle castle, I think. So hands longer, form the fist, and bring them to the inside. And up. To the outside. And down. And the last one, head to the inside. Now we are very round, down. To the outside. Up. And last one. Now the grip anxious to a fever. Next to us, hand form to a fist. We're bringing this fist down into flexion. And we're pressing a bit against it. Now we're pulling a bit. And we're pressing with one top. And one with it. And on the other side. And next to us, we're bringing the hand down to flexion and we're pressing a bit against it. We're pressing a bit from the outside. Always good to stay with stance here. A bit pressing from the top. And one more time. Now the T-Rex and morning. Long hands out for flat hands and bring these hands down and up. I haven't announced a single exercise you can skip. You could have skipped the crab next to the fever. If you like, you can skip this one also. But it's not so intense. Last time. And now a T-Rex extension. You can, if you don't have a tennis ball, do it without one. You just make a strong fist, or you press into the tennis ball with moderate pressure. Some good pressure, but not much. No force. And again, pressing, more strong fist. And releasing. And the third final time. And we're switching over. And we are pressing. We're releasing. We're pressing. And releasing. And we're pressing the last time. Now the cautious sweeping. Place your fingertips of one hand on top of the fingernails of the other hand. Press a little. We're opening slowly. And we're closing slowly. Again, slowly opening. Closing. And opening. And now we're switching. And we're opening again slowly. And we're closing again slowly. And the last one. And now we're doing the... No. First the field takes this new synth selector. Both hands in front, from the fists with hands. And we are opening them with the hands. And we're closing them. And the last one. Now the best cold bridge. Both hands next to us, flat, and we're bending them at the knuckles. We're holding them a bit like that, and then we're opening again. And bending, little holding, and again. That is the last time. And you can skip the next exercise. The frog testing the water temperature. Hands next to us. We bring these hands down, flared, and up, strong fists. Down into flexion with flat fingers. Up into extension, strong fists. Down into flexion with flat fingers. And up, strong fists. And last time down. And up. Now to the claw. Flat hands next to us, and we're making claws. And open again. And again, close. Hold it a little. And again. And close, and shortly holding. And opening. One last time. You can skip the next exercise again. Both arms up and bring strong fists into flexion. Then out, long arms, and open the hands into extension with flat fingers. And again in, into flexion with strong fists. And out again. And again in, strong fists to flexion. And out, flat fingers into extension. The last round in another flexion. And out, extend up and flat finger. And we're ending here. And the next exercise is the ice X. One hand flat, bended at the knuckles, and pressing like that on all 4 fingers. A little bit carefully. And we change. The other hand flat, we're bending it at the knuckles and we're pressing with all 4 fingers like that. A bit on top. And last exercise, the unfolding rocket boosters. Long arm of strong fists. And we bring these strong fists to the inside side of flexion with strong fists. And to the outside extension of flat fingers. In and strong fists. Out, extension, flat fingers. In, flexion, strong fists. And extension and flat fingers. One last time. And flexion with strong fists. And extension, flat fingers. And good. And now the relaxation exercise, we're going with moderate pressure on the middle part of the lower arm. One last time. Now the other side. this time. That was this training. I thank you very much, and until next time.